The first thing that comes to mind is maybe it doesn't really relate to environment at all. It's the sustainability for me is about doing something that lasts. And I spend most of my time working as a manager, and so for me sustainability means that we need to have some kind of environment that makes it possible for people to survive or to. It's very common that people take on assignments and after a year they are just exhausted, and that ambition is too high. So I think for me it relates to everything that we do. We have to find some kind of balance in what we do, what we take on, so that we don't expire, that we don't get exhausted. So when we develop courses, we have to develop something that is sustainable in terms of that we have to be able to run it forever, and so that means that everything in the end relates to finances and money-wise. That everything we do, we have to be able to afford in the end. But then in the context of industrial transformation, which takes us to where we are now, what made me attracted to industrial transformation is the concept of global warming. That everything we do in that sense relates to the overall goals for global warming, and that everything we do can either take us a step in the wrong direction or in the right direction. And that's kind of the same thing that, as I said before, that everything we do here in this building relates to whether we increase costs or we reduce costs. And what may be attractive to the industrial transformation platform is that I can make a connection with what we do in our everyday activities, kind of relate to the overall sustainability goals. I think everything we do is, as I said, it either costs more money or it reduces the cost. And if we could have this mindset that all the decisions we take, everything we do, can I do that? That if I do this or I do that, will this take us in the right direction or the wrong direction? Now we have an assignment to reduce costs in our building with 4 million or so. And so everything I look at, I have to evaluate whether this is in the right direction or the wrong direction. So I think that the mindset has to be in that sense. If we invest in something, if this will take us in this direction. But I can say that one thing that made me really impressed of the KTH ambition is when I met our vice president for sustainability, and he talked about sustainability 2.0, which made me very interested. That he said that KTH as a university could contribute to the society by developing technology that would actually reverse the trend, and not just reduce emissions, but develop technology that would actually solve the problem for us. And that made me very fascinated, because I think the students that we're teaching now, educating now, they are the people who will have to do this change, and they will be much smarter than we are. So that's what I would like to see. And my responsibility is to make sure that we keep the budget and we don't have one extra cost that exceeds the budget. And if we could have the same mindset for the environment, if instead we would pay the real cost for the environment, then maybe we would not buy the ticket, because we don't take the consequences of this trip. For the industry, I think that what I would like to see is that we would have a business model that the industry would pay the actual cost, and if they would do that, maybe they would not do this investment, maybe we'll do something else instead. So in terms of research, what I would like to see then is that we actually do the research that can emphasize, that can motivate these decisions. So to know if is this right to do or not, and I probably it's not the right thing to do, because I don't know the business model, I don't know the business side of this. But what I would like to see is that we have enough research so that we can actually convince everyone involved in the system that this is the right thing to do. My tip would be to read more and to discuss more, be open-minded and try to understand the system and try to see, so that you can make your own decisions and try to see how this decision will affect this and how this will affect that, and not try to get the cheap solutions and not buy in a plastic bag and buy a paper bag instead, but try to understand the system, try to make your own decisions and base them on science and be active in the discussions and play a role. As if you are a researcher at KTH, you have a huge responsibility compared to to everyone else. If you are an educated person, that you have a responsibility, and your responsibility is maybe not to choose the right bag in your supermarket. The responsibility is to communicate what you have understood, and to publish articles and to explain what you have understood, and argue and take your responsibility in the society. It is extremely important, and therefore you need to be up to date. You need to read. You need to understand. You need to buy into this. That's not an easy tip, but that's my tip. And then, as a KTH research, your impact is probably not by selecting a train instead of flight. That's something you do anyway. But your impact is through other means. It's by educating the society, by impacting the politicians. You are the ones that they will listen to.